In this lesson, we learn an important technique called as decomposition. Decomposition is used to repeatedly divide, that is, break down the project scope and deliverables into smaller, more manageable parts. The lowest level of breakdown is called as work packages. You can see all of these are work packages. At the lowest level, we have transformed the scope and deliverables into work. Why should we decompose is the question. When we decompose the deliverables, only then are we able to estimate the work involved, and only then we can decide which resources has the ability and availability to execute this work, and only then we will be able to work within the budget allocated. So, decomposition is essential for building a schedule and for managing the project. The next question is, how is decomposition done? And here I present you a 5-step algorithm you can follow to decompose the project scope into the work packages. Step 1 is to identify the deliverables from the scope statement and the requirements documentation or from agile epics. Step 2 is that you structure the WBS. You provide a structure. There are several ways or designs that you can structure the WBS. I will explain this in the very next slide. And then step 3 is for you to decompose the current level into the lower level. Step 4, assign an unique identifier to every component. And the last step is for you to verify the granularity, that is, verify that you have broken down appropriately, neither too large or not too small. And I will explain this later in the lesson. Okay? So, with this algorithm, you will be able to break down and create your WBS from the deliverables all the way to work packages. You can use different approaches to design the WBS structure. I will only show 2 of the most popular designs. And on your screen now, you can see example 1 where the WBS is structured by project phases. These are the different phases of the project. Notice that project management is always added into the WBS. This is one of the rules. We have requirements gathering, which is a phase, detailed design, construction, integration and testing, which are all different phases of the project. Each of the phases is then subsequently broken down into manageable work packages. Incidentally, all of these are at the same level and they are all work packages. You see it vertical here like this, but they are all work packages. In the second example that you see on your screen right now, the WBS structure is created from the major deliverables of the project. Every deliverable is broken down iteratively until we arrive at the work packages. There is no single prescribed way to structure your WBS. We just saw 2 examples. Or as the idiom goes, there is more than one way to skin the cat. Okay? You should study your organization's templates, previous projects, lessons learned, industry guidelines, etc. for you to design your own project. And at this point, a question will be troubling you. When should I stop decomposing? And I will answer that in the next slide. So the question now is, how much should I break down? Or when should I stop decomposing? Now, this is a classic Goldilocks situation. Your final work packages should neither be too big nor too small. It should be just right for your conditions. Understand that the more you break down, the more manageable your project becomes, up till a limit. How much control you want of the project, that much you must divide again to a limit. For example, small projects often break down to size of approximately 8 to 16 hours effort per work package, that is 1 to 2 days. Large projects often break down 40 to 80 hours of effort per work package, that is 1 to 2 weeks. This is a thumb rule called as 8/80 rule. Now, there are a couple of problems associated with decomposition that you must be aware of. Excessive decomposition is just another phase of micromanagement, and you totally want to avoid that. Decomposing too much will make you, the project manager, unproductive. It leads to loss of team morale because you are taking away autonomy. inefficient resources because of very minute task switching, and great difficulty in tracking the project, and many other similar issues, you should totally avoid excessive decomposition. The second problem is that you or your team might just not know enough to decompose. The deliverables might not have clarity. This is specifically for deliverables that are far away in the future. This is true in agile projects. In such a situation, we defer the decomposition until we get better clarity on the deliverables that need to be broken down. Simple logic. And this technique of waiting until we understand better is called as rolling wave planning. Is pretty important for your exam. You don't plan until the deliverable that is required has enough clarity. And with that, I will conclude this lesson. WBS decomposition is a critical part of project planning, and there are several best practices to be understood and practiced. I will present them in the next lesson, so I will see you there.